there, my name is Steve Gearhart, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. Always appreciate it when you guys stop by. And this week we're just going to talk about a couple things. One of them is the Golden Kamuy trailer live-action movie that's coming out on May 19th on Netflix. I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts on this. And also want to talk about a little something that every now and again I'll see something in Japan and it's the way that they do it, or it's something that they do that we don't do, or it's something that they have in abundance that we don't. And these are things sometimes I like to talk about, like things that I wish we had here in America that they have in Japan. And this time I want to talk about ferries, as in the ship going from one place to another. So let's start talking. All right, let's start with Golden Kamuy. I am so excited for this movie. I am, hesitant because Netflix is involved, and sometimes when Netflix is involved with something, sometimes it doesn't do so well for various reasons. So I'm hoping the Netflix thing doesn't happen to this movie, the Golden Kamuy. For those of you who are not familiar with this is based on the anime. That you can find on Crunchyroll right now, and I'm actually watching it. I'm in the first third of the first season, I think, and I'm loving it. I love the anime. It's really great. It takes place in the Meiji era. It's after the Russo-Japanese War. Sugimoto, one of the main characters, is a veteran of that war, and the story is basically he comes across another person who talks about this gold that was taken from the Ainu in the Hokkaido island, and that it's being hoarded, so to speak, and he kind of knows where it is, and the guy's drunk, and so Sugimoto is just like gold, and so he starts off on this trek to find this gold. He comes across this girl. I would say she's probably in the series probably at 12, 13 years old. Ainu. She is a huntress, and she provides for her little tribe in Hokkaido, and her father is dead, and it was like the only family she has, I think, is an uncle and a grandmother. I think that's right. Anyway, so she kind of helps Sugimoto to find this gold, because the gold is actually taken from her particular tribe, I believe. So we go on this adventure, and it is an adventure. There's very little downtime in this anime thus far, so it's not talky. It's a lot of action. I wouldn't call it like true shonen. It's not shonen-y shonen, but it is definitely action based. Again, you can find it on Crunchyroll. So I just kind of gave you an outline of what it is, what time period it takes in. So if you're interested in those kind of anime that takes place in the Meiji era, we're starting to get a lot more of those kinds of anime, which really appeals to me. I got a little history bent on things, and so I've been enjoying, like I said, the anime. Now I've got a ways to go on the initial plot, so I haven't finished it. So no spoilers in down below, please. But a few days ago, the trailer for the live action, the Golden Kamuy, came out, and it totally looks like the plot that I'm in right now. So, and it looks good. I mean, it looks good. And I was very happy to see that. Again, a lot of action. Some of the character designs, they did very well. One of the villains you meet has like a forehead shield, and you'll learn why. He actually looks like his anime character. Is kind of weird. The girl who plays the Ainu sidekick to Sugimoto is more mature in this movie. I'm okay with that. She seems to be more 16, 17, maybe even 18. In the anime, she's much younger. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think the actress who plays that is actually doing the role pretty well, as far as I can tell in the trailer. So the trailer is doing its job. It's making me excited. It makes me want to go out and see this on May 19th on Netflix, which means I gotta get cracking. on the anime. I'm torn. Do I want to see the movie right away on May 19th before I finish the anime? Because I'm gonna get the spoiler right. What do I do? What do you think? So I'm gonna get cracking on the anime. Hopefully, I can get it done before May 19th and watch that. So watch the movie, see what I think. So far, very excited. Trailer looks good. The song that they play in the trailer, smacking, and I'm excited. So as I said at the beginning of the video, there are things that Japan does that interests me, and it might be something that they do that we don't do here, or something that they just simply do better than we do here, which is often the case. And there are things that I just find very, very interesting, or a combination thereof. And I've talked about this in terms of vending machines. I'm just enamored by Japanese vending machines. I think I'll probably be that guy when I finally get to Japan that they'll be like, why is the big gaijin just keep going to every single vending machine? What is his? Is it there's something wrong with him? I'm just very enamored by these things. So one of the things I often watch are walking videos of various different countries, and I find them very entertaining because there's usually no narration. Maybe there might be a little bit of subtitles down at the bottom to kind of explain a little bit of what you're seeing. And it's just kind of like a ASMR, kind of like just relaxing and looking at things. And there's one guy who does travel videos. His name is Kuga, Kuga, Kuga Travels. I'll have a link down below for his YouTube. You should really see it. It's really kind of interesting. So he's a train fanatic. Like, he loves trains, and I've got a little thing for trains as well. But that's actually not what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about trains. On his channel, he also his interest is not just to travel to different locations, it's what he's traveling on. So quite often he does videos just about that, and they're very, very interesting. And again, he doesn't narrate, he just kind of has subtitles down at the bottom to again explain what you're seeing. And he kind of he's a little cheeky, and he's kind of fun to watch and read. And so he has a slew of videos on his channel that are ferries around Japan, because as we all know, Japan is an island nation. There's many, many, many islands, and so it makes sense that they would have numerous ferries, that would be an industry within Japan to, as a form of cheap travel, getting from one place to the other. And it's something I realized that we don't really have here in America. I mean, we have ferries in America that they get us from one place, transportation from one place to another, but they're usually like, 5, 6, maybe 8 hours at the outside. So on the East Coast, we really don't have any ferries that are overnight, right? So I think the ones that we do have are based out of Maine, I think, and they go in back and forth to Canada. We have more out in the Pacific Northwest, Oregon and Washington, going up into various places in Canada, and of course the passage in Alaska, Juneau, and those areas. So there are some overnight ferries out there, but that's not something that Americans normally have. This is not something we need, right? We don't need a ferry to take us from one part of the coast to another. It's not like we have a whole bunch of islands that we need to go to. That's why it's more prevalent out in the Pacific Northwest than it is on the East Coast here. So it's not something that's easily available to Americans to do. In Japan, on the other hand, of course, because again, they're an island nation, they have all these different islands and different places to go to in different ways, and it's a cheaper way of transportation. And so it's an industry. So yes, there are, of course, ferries that take only 3 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, whatever. But they have a lot of overnight ferries, and these things are very, very interesting. And Kuga Travels, I think, is the best channel thus far that kind of details what they look like. Now, remember, these are ferries. These are not cruise ships, okay? So ferries are very stripped down. You are literally booking passage on a ship, and that's it. Like, there's no cruise director, there's no activities directors, none of that kind of thing. And the belly of the ferry serves multiple purposes. transporting you and your car if you happen to have a car, or it's going to be supplies for a different location. Some of these are island locations, and it's just easier to ship things there. So a ferry can ship people, cars, and larder, or supplies, whatever. So ferries in Japan have these multiple functions. It's not just a people mover. It's just a way of getting around things. And like I said, these are not cruise ships. So when you book a room, it's not like, oh, here's your wonderful cabin at $3,000, and you have a little balcony that looks over the ocean as we're going through, and you're gonna have lobster for dinner and all this, and everything's wonderful, and you have to wear a tux to dinner if you're going to the captain's table, blah blah blah. None of that. So what you have there is basic necessities. So you go in there and you get a room. Your room will have a desk. It'll probably have definitely a bed. It'll probably have a TV in it. Some of them don't have windows. Depends on how much you're willing to pay. Some of these rooms are common rooms, which means that you're going to be sleeping with 8 or 9 other people in this room. So it's like a dorm room almost. So the more money that you spend, of course, means a little bit larger, a little bit more amenities, and a window, so to speak. So, like, if you're getting a cabin that is at the front and you're looking over the prow of the ship and you have 1 or 2 windows doing that, you have a nice TV, you have plenty of room to walk around, whatever, that's going to cost a little bit of money, but it's still a heck of a lot cheaper than what you will pay on a cruise. Most likely because at most the cruise is probably going to be 2 nights. Usually they're just overnight cruises or overnight trips for these ferries. So you're really just going from here to here overnight, and there you go. So you don't need a lot. Some of these ships do have a theater that might show a movie at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and that'll be it. A lot of these ships actually do have buffet style restaurants in there, so you can get something to eat. All of them have banks and banks and banks, and everywhere you find vending machines. So if you don't make it to dinner and they do close, it's not 24/7, you can hit the vending machines and take it back to your room. But so what is also interesting is that they do try to make it comfortable. Like, there are lounging areas, like seats that you can sit in and just kind of lounge and just be there and just kind of hang out in case if you don't want to just stay in your room, right? You want to move around. You can move around on the deck, right? Things like that. But it's very, I wouldn't call it Spartan, but it's very, very stripped down because you're only going to be on there for, a couple of nights at the most. I think there's one ferry that he's talked about that I haven't watched yet that, excuse me, goes around the main island of Honshu, and it takes about 7 days. So I think that's the longest actual ferry ride. So I find these very interesting because usually here in America, like I said, if I take a ferry, it'll be like a rickety boat sometimes, and there's probably just bench seating or whatever, and you just go from A to B and it takes you 3 to 6 hours. These are little kind of like think like Holiday Inn motels on water. It's nice enough room. You have some amenities, but it's really just to get you from A to B. But it's a nice way to travel. So, and he talks about some of the ferries that he goes on are actually quite lavish, and he's just like, God, why do we do this? And other of them are very, like I said, stripped down. So I just find them very, very interesting. And I know that if I had all the monies in the world, that one of the things I would probably do in Japan is probably book passage on 1 or 2 of these ferries just to have the experience. So again, if you want to check this out, it's kind of neat. It's very interesting. It's a lot different than something that we have here in America. So it's a kind of a totally different look on things, on how to do things, and definitely Japanese. And give it a try. Give it a try as if you could go right now. I might give the video a try. So I'll put Kuga's link, Kuga Travels, down below. Again, if you're a rail fan, you might want to check out some of his videos because they are actually pretty good as well. So yeah, I wish we had something like that here. That would be kind of fun to me. It's like not even like really me getting to go somewhere. I just really just want to be on the boat, right? So yeah, there you go. All right, so that is it for this week. I just wanted to talk a little bit about a couple things, and so May 19th, Golden Kamuy on Netflix if you have it, and excited. I hope it's good. So looking forward to that, and of course, if you want to check out some of these ferries in Japan, travel and just get a sense of the experience of traveling on one of these boats. Check out Kuga's Travels. The link will be down below. He does a very good job on his channel, so please give him some love there. And so that's going to be it for this week. And next week, we're going to have another Cyberpunk review, and it's going to be on Altered Carbon, the books, the Netflix show, the Netflix anime, one-shot anime. We're going to talk about all three of those things and the world building involved with it. So, definitely come back next week for that Cyberpunk review. Okay, guys, be well, stay healthy. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time. And as always, watch more anime.